Hi, I'm going to tell you about Stockholm eventually in probably my next video. I can make a promise that I can tell you in the next video. I know it's been a while and some of you are wondering, but some of you aren't even aware that I went away for a week to Stockholm. So if you're new here or something, welcome. This is just a video blog of a crazy Swedish person with a lot of issues, especially lately. So we're back to that. When I came home, I had a terrible cold. But to make a long story short, I just had to tell you about a dream I had tonight. And I'm not making any of this up. And I know I shouldn't say that. And it was like, you should never say, this is so fascinating, this is really interesting, or this is a funny story, or a really funny joke. Because if it really is that funny or interesting, why do you have to say it? And if it's true, why do you have to keep saying that, I'm not making it up. It's just, you're gonna love this. I shouldn't say that either. But the dream I had, I was in the apartment of my friend's apartment from Stockholm. But my friend wasn't in the dream. In the dream, I was in the dream. And my sister was in the dream. And it was like it was her apartment instead of my friend's apartment. And it was a very similar apartment, if not the same. And my sister passed away when I was 15. And she was my older sister. She was 19 at the time. So we got my dad's sister in the dream. In the dream, we also have a dream guy. Not like Mr. Dreamy, Mr. Right. Just like, as in he doesn't exist in reality. He just was some sort of character that my brain made up in the dream. They were dating. They weren't too serious, and you could tell that they were just really blah. Like, they didn't have any sort of chemistry. So they were just kind of like a couple that should really break up, but, they were together. And, yes. He was a hunky guy. There were 4 years between us. So as you can tell, if you remember what I said about the ages. So he was a little bit in between. So he wasn't, he was just like 2 years older. And, but I was always the little sister in reality and in the dream. I think that happens no matter how old you are. Even if if it's just 1 year between siblings, I think that you still get that status of, being the little bitty baby sister, even if you have an older sibling that's just 1 year older or something. It's just the way it is. I've always been the littlest one. So I was always a little sister. I'm always going to be a little sister. I think that's why my brother and my cousin, for example, sometimes, I don't think they have as much as I think they have, but I think they have issues. Sometimes I feel like I don't know, I still feel like the little sister, especially with my brother, of course. Even though with my cousin and myself, there were only 3 years between us, but my cousin and my sister, they were good friends, and they hung out all the time. I didn't hang out with them. I was close with my sister, but we weren't friends that hung out with the same sort of friends, of course. Because when we grew up, 4 years between us was a lot, so we didn't have the same friends and whatnot. So I'm worse than Dan Harmon. I just keep going on tangents. In the dream, I was the little sister, and that's an issue I have in real life too. That I'm always worried about people perceiving me as someone who is, I'm going on tangents again, as being younger than I am. Also because that's an issue I have had. If you go back and look at my early videos where I'm like 20 or something, I still act like I'm 15. And that's a lot of things. I think it's just because I was, missed a lot of childhood stuff, So I think that I missed out on a lot of stuff and had stuff to catch up on. I also didn't have a lot of friends until I was 18 or so, 17, 18. So when I was 18, all my friends were 14. So that's what I acted like. That was my age mentally, you know, but not on paper. And that is why if you go back and look at my videos and I say that I'm 22 or something and I act like I'm 15, that's just the way it was. And I think that people think that you should act the way the age you're on paper, you know. And the older I got, the more difficult it was. So, and even though I do act now more like, while I haven't experienced and done as many things as a 28-year-old should have, I definitely don't think of myself as 28, but I'm still capable of acting sort of like a 28-year-old, even though I'm dorky and nerdy. But that doesn't mean that you have to be childish. But that's an issue I have. Again, I went on tangents and just, okay. So in the dream, there's, we're in the small apartment. My sister, my dead sister, and not so dead in the dream, and her hunky boyfriend, and we sort of have a connection, the boyfriend guy and I, and we're kind of flirty, but not really, but kind of, and so I end up like, I don't know, just like flirting with her boyfriend, and he's like clear that he kind of wants to be with me, but he does. First, there's a joke, like an open joke, and my sister's like, geez, she's like 12, and then I'm like, wait. First, I'm like, yeah, I am. Oh my god, what are you doing? I'm just a kid. But then I go, oh my god, no, I clearly like you too, even though it's so wrong, and I'm not fucking 12. Like I'm an adult too, and oh my god. And then I dreamt that the Britney Spears was on a talk show, and she went crazy and just started like masturbating, and it was this huge story, and it was like a talk show that was live or something, and she just went like banana crazy. Not like super crazy, but she was just like wriggling around on the floor and started putting her hand in her pants. It was quite weird, and I didn't even remember that part until I earlier today opened a magazine, and there was like a picture of Britney Spears, and I was like, oh my god, it just hit me. So that was strange, and no, there was like a third part to the dream that I don't remember. Geez, it was great though. It was great. Shit. I should really have recorded this earlier. But it was crazy, yeah. And yeah, it was weird. And then we all went to sleep, and I was kind of we were sleeping all kind of next to each other, all three, and then I was sort of like nibbling on his neck a little bit, and oh my god. I'm stealing boyfriends from my sister in my dreams. What? And dreaming of Britney Spears and what's happening, brain? Huh? There was also something about like, oh yeah, yes, I got it. My friend Kai, she became a zombie towards the end, and my sister just kind of freaked out, and then it wasn't really my sister, because it kind of turned, she was kind of my sister, but then it was like, she was my cousin instead, and then it was like, the zombie was my cousin, sort of, but not, and then there was like, that both my sister and my cousin were there or something, and the boyfriend guy was just like, oh my god, just punched out on the floor, and we were just freaking out, and I had this knife, and then the zombie had the knife, and it was my friend Kai, and she was just like zombie-faced, and just like, you know, like almost glowing eyes, and she had this big butcher knife, and she was just like, walking towards me, and it wasn't scary, it was just like me going like, I'm so ready, come at me, bro. Oh my god. So And this all happened in my friend's apartment, and she wasn't in the dream at all. And we made like tea in her kettle. And like my sister was just so pissed because like when before the zombie thing happened at the end, and then I woke up, then excuse me, then so she started making like tea and like boiling water in some thing, or she had like hot water, or instead of, it was something weird with the thing, with the process. So the boyfriend and I, we were like, you could just put on the cold water in the kettle, like. And she just kind of took, it was like in a bucket or something, so she just took the bucket and just kind of threw it in the sink so it goes splosh a little bit. And she's like, fine, like, really angry. So, because she clearly noticed something was kind of that we had more chemistry than they had. Yeah. So, and then at the end I was like, hey, do you want to take a walk with me? And, like, I tried to make a big excuse, like, and I was thinking the excuse could be like, oh, can I take you for a walk just outside and leave my sister here so we can talk about what I can get her for her birthday. But then I realized that her birthday was in August and it was too far to go. And then I was like, wait, Christmas is coming up. So it can be like, can we discuss my sister's Christmas gift? Come on. And I went for like a night walk with the boyfriend. I don't know if the timeline, if we came back after that. And I don't know. I'm always fascinated if people are going to be watching 11 minutes of me talking nonsense. But I often watch very long video vlogs when I'm interested in what the person has to say, or I just like the person. So sometimes it happens. But a couple of years ago, I couldn't stand videos that were longer than 5 minutes tops. I was like, no one's ever gonna watch that. It's crap. But there are no rules. I'm a rebel. I make my own rules. I'll explain that later. That was my dream. Probably. I don't know. I don't know anymore. To be honest, I really don't. So, I'll go away. See you later.